Imagine paying $200 a month for a software subscription, but it actually costs the company up to $14,000 every single month just to keep you online.
That is an unbelievable amount of money.
It really is. And it is the hidden, staggering reality of the artificial intelligence industry right now. Welcome to episode 535 of AI Brief. We have a huge show today, starting with Amazon founder Jeff Bezos placing a $12 billion bet on an artificial general engineer.
Which is quite the concept to wrap your head around.
Oh, definitely. We are also unpacking a growing researcher revolt over some invisible safeguards that are quietly breaking AI models. And, well, we will explore how artificial intelligence is secretly refereeing soccer's biggest global stage.
Looking at today's developments, you really see artificial intelligence rapidly shifting away from being just a purely digital chatbot. We're watching this technology transform into an engine that governs complex physical machines, global sporting events, and massive capital investments all at the exact same time.
The sheer scale of that shift is incredibly clear when you look at today's first major update. Jeff Bezos just officially showed his cards regarding his startup, Prometheus.
And they raised a massive amount of capital,
A
correct?
completely massive amount. The company announced a $12 billion raise at a $41 billion valuation. Bezos co-founded Prometheus late last year with Vic Bajaj. For context, Bajaj is a physicist and chemist who he actually helped create Alphabet's life sciences arm, barely.
Wow. So they have some serious scientific backing.
Absolutely. Their specific goal is to build an artificial general engineer designed to help humans build the world's most complicated physical machines. According to Bajaj, engineers who design things like, say, jet engines are currently using software tools that have not meaningfully changed in decades.
That seems like a huge bottleneck for innovation.
It is the ultimate bottleneck. They call it the dream build loop. That is the journey from a raw idea to a tested physical product. Today, if you ask for a 10% increase in a jet engine's thrust, that request can take an entire decade to fully realize.
Because of all the physical hurdles, I assume?
Spot on. The testing, the wind tunnels, material stress simulations, it all requires endless manual iteration. Prometheus wants to accelerate that entire loop by 10 times. It is like taking the historical leap from hand drafting blueprints to 3D CAD software, but, on absolute steroids.
I know you are probably listening to this and rolling your eyes at a billionaire promising that a new software tool will magically fix physical engineering. But consider how traditional 3D software actually functions. Think of it like a very smart digital pencil.
A digital pencil that only knows geometry.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It draws whatever you tell it to draw, but it has no idea if the thing you just drew will actually work in the real world. Bezos' artificial engineer is like having a physicist sitting inside the software, telling you in real time that the pencil lines you just drafted will cause the engine turbine to melt at 30,000 feet.
Which is mind-blowing when you think about the applications.
It really is. Prometheus is attempting to take that leap into physics-aware artificial intelligence. And what stands out is the contrarian argument Bezos is making here. While so much of the public conversation revolves around AI causing widespread job losses, he claims this specific type of productivity boost will actually create 10 times more opportunities.
Because it raises the global standard of living by unblocking physical innovation.
100%. Selling the idea of an upcoming labor shortage is definitely a difficult narrative to push right now. However, very few people have more hands-on experience solving impossible-scale physical logistical problems than Bezos.
He built Amazon, after all.
He did. And he is essentially pointing that exact same infrastructure obsession directly at the concept of invention itself. If you can simulate the physical testing of a machine instantly within an AI model, you remove the physical constraints of innovation.
It is so fascinating to see someone trying to remove all limits on building physical structures because, well, right now in the digital realm, researchers are dealing with an incredibly frustrating set of new restrictions.
The invisible walls.
The invisible walls, yes. Anthropic is facing severe backlash today over the launch of Fable 5, which is the first public model in their new Mythos class. The model launched with incredibly strict, invisible filters screening conversations around chemistry, biology, cybersecurity, and AI development.
Invisible meaning the user has no idea it's happening.
That is the core issue. Essentially, Fable initially weakened its answers automatically if it suspected you were applying the information for AI development, and it did this without giving you any notification whatsoever.
But if you think about what a highly capable model can actually do, shouldn't it have some guardrails? If someone asks an AI how to build a cyber weapon or synthesize a dangerous pathogen, you definitely want the system to have a layer of bubble wrap around it to prevent catastrophic misuse.
Oh, for sure. The friction isn't about having guardrails. It is about the invisible nature of the downgrading and the extreme sensitivity of the trigger. Following the outrage, Anthropic has apologized, and they added on-screen alerts to notify users when the model is rerouting or flagging a prompt.
That seems like a necessary fix.
It is. Dean Ball, who previously advised the White House on AI, publicly called this invisible downgrading of research answers shockingly hostile to the user experience. The trigger mechanism is so sensitive right now that scientists are reporting getting their accounts flagged for terms completely unrelated to dangerous research.
Unrelated in what way?
Well, some claim their entire workflows were disrupted just for typing the word hello in a new prompt window.
Just for saying hello. That is wild.
It forces you to ask a very practical question. At what point does a highly capable tool become practically useless because it is wrapped in too much bubble wrap?
Fable 5 absolutely lives up to the performance hype in raw benchmarking. But this rollout introduces massive friction for the very people trying to push the technology forward. When scientists and developers hit invisible walls that silently degrade the quality of their work, they lose trust in the tool entirely.
Trust is everything in developer tools.
Absolutely. And this misstep provides rival OpenAI a very clear, immediate window to win over frustrated power users. They can just offer a more user-first, transparent path where you actually know exactly how the model is interpreting your request.
So you have Anthropic making their AI's limitations hyper-visible and causing immense friction for a few digital scientists, which is destroying user trust. But if you look at what is happening right now at the 2026 FIFA World Cup in Mexico City, organizers are solving that exact same trust problem by doing the complete opposite.
By making it invisible to the fans.
Completely invisible. They are making the technology seamless to the 5 billion fans watching. The tournament has officially opened, and AI is fully wired into the infrastructure. We are talking about integration into offside calls, advanced team analytics, and fan experiences.
The mechanics behind the offside calls are incredible.
The data scale is just massive. There is an optical tracking system capturing over 150 million data points per single match. The physical Adidas match ball contains a motion tracker that reports its precise location 500 times every single second.
The way they are executing the offside detection is a perfect example of this invisible integration. Before stepping onto the pitch, every single player received a 1-second 3D body scan.
A 1-second scan is all it takes.
That is all it takes. This scan created a highly accurate digital avatar of each player. During the match, the system continuously detects the exact limb positions of those digital avatars in real time. Because the sensors are operating at speeds human eyes cannot possibly match, the system instantly pings the official's earpieces the exact millisecond a player's shoulder or knee drifts offside.
So the referee just hears a beep and makes the call.
Precisely. And beyond the refereeing, a system called Football AI Pro provides all 48 tournament squads with chatbot-style analytics trained on FIFA's historical match data. And on the sponsorship side, Google made Gemini the global sponsor of the defending champion Argentina squad, placing AI branding directly on their training kits.
The stealth marketing strategy at play here really stands out. Public sentiment regarding artificial intelligence is currently quite low in many Western markets. Consumers are skeptical.
Very skeptical.
But this global event demonstrates that the technology does not need public consensus to be implemented. By wiring artificial intelligence into the background layers of the tournament, the technology simply becomes the new operational standard.
People just accept it because it works.
If the offside calls are mathematically perfect and the analytics work flawlessly in the background, nobody notices the underlying technology. That invisible, seamless integration might be the single most effective way to normalize these systems globally. But that invisible integration requires a massive physical engine running behind the scenes.
A very expensive engine.
When we look at everything else happening in artificial intelligence today, the sheer scale of the underlying financial infrastructure is dominating the conversation.
The financial engine driving this entire industry is operating at a scale that is almost difficult to comprehend. Recent analysis reveals exactly how aggressively the major artificial intelligence labs are subsidizing their power users just to retain market share.
Subsidizing them to what extent?
Tests were recently run maxing out the weekly usage limits across every Anthropic and OpenAI subscription tier. They compared the raw compute costs on the back end to the actual subscription prices paid by consumers. If you max out the limits on a $200 per month Claude Max plan, it actually costs the company up to $8,000 in monthly compute resources.
Wow.
And it gets worse. A ChatGPT Pro subscription maxed out by a power user can cost up to $14,000 in raw compute.
I have to stop and ask how a single user typing text into a prompt box is generating $14,000 in computing costs. That ratio seems fundamentally broken.
It comes down to how context windows actually function mechanically. When a power user drops a massive code base or a 500-page document into an AI, the system does not just read it once.
It has to keep rereading it.
Due to the transformer architecture, every time you ask a follow-up question, the system has to process that entire massive document all over again. The computing power required scales quadratically, which means the cost explodes exponentially the more you interact with large files.
So the heavier the file, the more massive the financial loss for the company.
Exactly. Well, the gap between what users pay and what the machines cost to run shows how deeply these labs are absorbing catastrophic losses simply to keep top-tier users locked into their ecosystems.
Those burn rates are completely shocking. You have to wonder how long a price war can realistically last when the baseline cost of servicing a single heavy user is the equivalent of buying a used car every single month.
That dynamic brings us to the growing infrastructure anxiety bubbling up in the financial markets. Take Oracle as the perfect example of this tension. They just posted an incredible quarter, beating expectations with a 21% revenue surge, hitting $19 billion.
That is a massive surge.
And their backlog of future contracts soared by 363%, up to $638 billion. By all traditional metrics, it was a flawless operational performance, yet their stock dropped immediately.
Because of the infrastructure costs.
Spun on. The market reacted negatively because Oracle simultaneously announced plans to raise another $40 billion in new financing, specifically to build out more physical data centers. Investors are looking at those $14,000 per user burn rates and realizing that the physical infrastructure required to sustain this technology is essentially an endless furnace of capital.
That is a terrifying thought for an investor.
That financial anxiety is accelerating strategic maneuvering across the entire board. In a direct response to the market pressure, OpenAI is reportedly weighing steep token price cuts to compete directly with Anthropic.
A token being the metric developers pay for.
Yes, a token is basically the cost per piece of word that developers pay to run the models. Lowering that cost sets the stage for a brutal developer price war.
Which just drains more capital.
OpenAI also just acquired Ona, a startup specializing in secure cloud environments. This acquisition is designed to allow OpenAI's Codex agents, which are specialized coding models, to operate safely inside private corporate clouds without leaking proprietary company data.
Going after the enterprise money to offset consumer losses.
Definitely. In the consumer space, Visa has partnered with OpenAI to allow ChatGPT agents to autonomously purchase products for users at any Visa-enabled merchant. Meanwhile, former XAI co-founder Igor Babushkin has launched a new startup called River AI.
What are they building?
They're aimed at building highly personalized agents that adapt to an individual user's specific daily workflow. Finally, Hollywood studio Lionsgate is taking a direct stake in the AI video company Runway to co-develop new intellectual property based on their existing studio catalog.
That is a major shift for Hollywood.
It is signaling a major shift in how traditional media companies are attempting to monetize legacy content.
All of that macro infrastructure and corporate maneuvering ultimately trickles down to the micro tools you can actually use every single day. The sheer volume of tools hitting the market is immense. Let's break down today's trending AI tool so you can apply this technology directly to your own workflow. We have 9 major releases to cover today.
9 is quite the list. Let's dive in.
First up is Scrunch. The pain point this solves is that artificial intelligence agents do not search the web like traditional Google crawlers do. They read semantic context differently. Scrunch allows you to see exactly how an AI interprets your website.
That sounds incredibly useful for businesses.
It is. You can run a free audit to fix invisible SEO blind spots, ensuring that when an AI agent is summarizing your industry, your company actually appears in the results. Second is Ray 3.2, which is Luma's brand new video AI model.
AI video has historically been pretty glitchy.
Oh, very glitchy. Historically, AI video struggles with consistency. Characters and backgrounds morph constantly. The practical use case for Ray 3.2 is creating continuous, cinematically directed product demos. It maintains the physical consistency of your product across multiple shots without needing a physical camera crew.
Huge cost saver for marketing teams.
For sure. Third, we have Avatars by 11 Labs. These are highly realistic new AI characters that solve the problem of scaling video production. You can use this to turn basic text marketing scripts into engaging talking head videos in seconds, perfectly lip-synced and ready for social media.
Without having to step in front of a camera yourself.
Fourth is Freddy, a tool that plugs your wearables and gym apps directly into AI agents. Instead of just giving you raw data about your heart rate, you can use Freddy to build a perfectly personalized AI fitness coach.
So it actually interprets the health data.
It actually understands your daily biometric data and adjusts your workout routine based on how you slept the night before. Fifth is Airtable AI. This update now lets you build custom interfaces and automations directly on top of your existing data.
I imagine that saves a lot of manual sorting.
Immensely. If your team is managing a messy workflow of spreadsheets and client emails, you can use this to automatically sort, tag, and route information without needing to write a single line of code. Sixth is Aripsy. This tool instantly transforms long text and massive PDFs into digestible notes and flashcards.
A lifesaver for long meetings.
Definitely. If you are about to walk into a meeting and need to instantly absorb the key arguments of a 100-page industry report, this is your shortcut to being fully informed. Seventh is Slashspace, which offers a local-first infinite canvas designed for multi-agent chat.
Emphasizing the local first part for security.
Exactly. I mean, absolutely. If you are working on something highly confidential, like a new product launch, this is perfect for organizing incredibly deep private research projects. You can have multiple different AI models analyzing your private data simultaneously on a visual board without sending that data to the public cloud.
Which enterprise companies will demand.
Eighth is Honen. This platform transforms dry, static company documents into interactive, auto-updating training courses. The use case here is automating tedious employee onboarding. Instead of handing a new hire a massive PDF, Honen turns that manual into an interactive system they can actually query.
That is so much more engaging.
And finally, number 9 is Solarch. This tool designs and visualizes complex backend systems on a visual canvas. You can let an AI architect automatically map out your software nodes and server relationships, saving engineering teams countless hours of manual diagramming and preventing catastrophic system architecture mistakes.
If you want to build a true power user workflow from that list, consider combining Aripsy's document summaries directly with the Slashspace Infinite Canvas.
How would you set that up?
Well, imagine you are researching a completely new market. You can use Aripsy to instantly distill a dozen massive competitor reports into flashcards. Then, you drop those distilled insights onto a private, local visual board in Slashspace and have multiple AI agents cross-reference the data to find market gaps. It is a completely dominant way to accelerate your learning workflow without getting overwhelmed by information overload.
It leaves you with a fascinating contrast to consider today. On one hand, you have Jeff Bezos confidently investing $12 billion to build artificial engineers capable of simulating physics and designing jet engines to push human innovation forward.
And on the other hand,
On the exact same day, the major AI labs are quietly bleeding up to $14,000 a month per power user just to maintain their current market share. As these underlying compute costs continue to skyrocket and the infrastructure demands drain billions from the financial markets, who actually survives the long game? Make sure to follow the podcast on your favorite platform and share this deep dive with a friend who needs to stay informed on the shifting landscape.
thank you for joining us today.
See you in the next